What's going on, Star Wars fam? I'm your bro host, Daniel Miller.
And I'm your bro host, Chris Ryans.
And I'm your guest bro host, Pete Fletzer. And we are the fuel to kickstart your Star Wars Comics Week right into hyperspace with a quick shot of BROAXIUM.
And on shelves this week, we've got Star Wars number 16 from Charles Soule.
We've got IDW's Star Wars The High Republic Adventures, brought to you by Ben Skywalker of the Star Bros podcast.
And I'll be doing War of the Bounty Hunters number 3, so you might want to buckle up, baby.
And let's punch.
Hello, High Republic fans. Looks like you get me again in back-to-back weeks as I continue to cover IDW's storyline in the High Republic. Last issue, we went on a diplomatic mission with our young Jedi Farzala and his crew. Needless to say, things didn't go quite as planned. Farzala was captured and his crewmates are in hiding. So let's get into it. Mission to Bilbusa, Part 2. We drop in on Farzala in prison. He's remembering the tales he was told of the great Jedi Master Talboda, who was so fearless that he'd faced down whole armies by himself. As a Padawan, it was inspiring. He wanted to be just like him, afraid of nothing. But here he was, stuck in a dungeon on Nal Hutta. He's going over how he got there in his head. Why did his ship open fire on the Hutt Palace during their negotiations? He's worried about his crew on the ship. He senses a dark, vicious enemy below his cage. And worst of all, he's afraid. And Jedi aren't supposed to be afraid. Back on the vessel, Court and the crew are hiding from the marauders that took over the ship. They have to prevent them from helping in the fight against the Drengir, or Jabba will feed them to the Rancors. Wow, even hundreds of years ago Jabba was using that trick. Anyway, they split up to find the crew. Just as they start to get closer to Court and Nafi, they make a noise and give themselves away. Ishnar turns to see what made the noise, but Court and Nafi get away just in time. Ishnar makes his way down a hallway where he thinks he spots someone. He fires on them, but it's a trick. From behind, Affie takes her shot and cracks Ishnar over the head with a pipe. Gosh, that looks like it hurt. One bad guy down, a bunch more to go. Back in prison, Farzala continues to deal with overcoming his fear and begins to recall the lessons of his master, Obertuk Lee. He reminds his young Padawan that fear can be a teacher, and in order to overcome it, you have to experience that which you don't yet know, which makes you afraid. Farzala takes this to heart and starts to find a way to escape. But can he do it? Will he get to his friends in time? Pick this one up today and keep the adventures going.
And make sure you check out the Star Wars Splash Page podcast for in-depth reviews on all the new Star Wars comics every week.
Kira and her Crimson Dawn may have bitten off a little more than they can chew now that Darth Vader himself has joined her auction for Han Solo in War of the Bounty Hunters number 3, The Crimson Blade, written by Charles Soule with art from Luke Ross and David Messina. While Lord Vader and Jabba discuss who's laying claim to Han Solo in Carbonite, Boba Fett, Leia, Lando, and Chewie, while staying out of Vader's view, also lay claim to Solo. And Chewie's not about to let Fett take his best friend from him again. Chewie vs. Boba Fett begins with one of the best lines ever. There's no way I can deliver it like Chris Ryans, so drop it, Chris.
Beat his ass, Chewbacca.
Lord Vader lays down the law at this shindig and lets everyone know that he'll take what he wants, as they, the planet, the very system they're in, all belong to the Emperor. Elsewhere, it's Fett versus Chewbacca. Chewie has the upper hand until Omega's older brother turns on the heat, literally. After Lando bravely sacrifices his iconic cape to put Chewie's fire out, Leia points a blaster at Boba Fett and is quickly disarmed. Boba explains that it's not just about the credits, but it's his code, his reputation, all the teachings that his father instilled in him so long ago. Back at center stage, Jabba wisely concedes to Vader, and now Solo belongs to the Empire. Just then, Lady Kira confronts the Dark Lord of the Sith. Well, this is where things really start to take off, and listen, I don't want to spoil what happens next because it's absolutely worth the read, but it is intense. And I will say this, a few of the questions that we've had about Kira and her last boss are alluded to. We get a little sense as to what her life has been like since Solo, a Star Wars story. Once again, Charles Soule, Luke Ross, and the rest of the group have given us a story that has blown us away, and it's another great installment in the War of the Bounty Hunters story. Well, thanks for checking out my preview of War of the Bounty Hunters. Dan and Chris are up next with a look at another War of the Bounty Hunters tie-in with Star Wars number 16.
And thank you so much, Certified Daddy Pete Fletzer, for that great preview.
Now, this one's going to be a short one because scenes from this comic and War of the Bounty Hunters kind of coincide. They flow real nicely, so we're going to do our best not to spoil too much of this issue.
On his way to Jakara to meet up with Leia and the others to rescue Han, Luke replays the events of his first duel with his dad, Darth Vader.
Luke said fighting Darth Vader was like fighting a storm. Darth Vader didn't just use his lightsaber to fight Luke, he used anything and everything that wasn't nailed down against his son.
Vader used everything at his disposal, even the kitchen sink, just to keep Luke off balance.
And as Luke prepares to fight Lord Vader, possibly, he thinks he's got a better chance this time now that he has a better handle on the Force.
Or does he? And this is about as far as we can go without spoiling any of the comic for you, or War of the Bounty Hunters issue number 3.
Now you know the drill, Broke Squadron. Head to your local comic shop or hit up Comixology and get this comic today.
Joining us for another quick shot of BROAXIUM.
If you dig our content, please give this video a like and our channel a subscribe.
Make sure you check out our merch at our TeePublic store and consider checking out our new Patreon page and help support BROAXIUM. And may the Force be with you.
Always, always.